The 10 fastest selling rifles in America right now, 2025. Right now, somewhere in America, a gun store just sold out of a rifle you probably weren't even considering buying. And that's the thing about the firearms market in 2025. It doesn't care about your assumptions. It doesn't care about brand loyalty, internet arguments, or what your buddy at the range swears is the best platform ever made. The only thing that matters is what people are actually pulling out their wallets for. And when you look at the hard sales data from this year, the results are genuinely fascinating. Some of these rifles, sure, you'd expect them. They've earned their place through decades of proven performance. But others, a few names on this list are going to make you pause and rethink what the American shooter actually prioritizes when real money is on the line. I've gone through the latest sales figures, cross-referenced dealer reports, and compiled the definitive ranking of the 10 fastest-moving rifles in the country right now. We're counting down from number 10 to the undisputed king at number 1, and I promise you, the journey from bottom to top tells a story about where the gun world is heading that nobody is really talking about yet. So let's get into it. Starting us off at number 10 is a rifle that proves you don't need a $1,000 price tag or a 30-round magazine to win over American shooters. The CVA Scout, a break-action single-shot rifle, is absolutely dominating its category right now, and when you understand why, it makes perfect sense. Strip away all the noise, all the tactical accessories, all the marketing hype, and ask yourself what most hunters and recreational shooters genuinely need from a rifle. The answer comes down to 3 things. It needs to go bang every single time, it needs to put the bullet where you point it, and it needs to not destroy your bank account. The CVA Scout delivers on all 3 fronts with almost stubborn simplicity. This thing is available in a remarkable spread of chamberings. You can get it in the classic bone-crushing 45-70 government, or you can drop down to pistol cartridges like 44 Magnum for a softer shooting experience. Every model ships ready for optic mounting, and there's a whole catalog of finishes and camouflage patterns depending on whether you're heading into the deer stand or just punching paper on a Saturday afternoon. At just 6.3 pounds unloaded, it's one of the lightest options in its class, which your shoulders will thank you for on a long day in the field. The break-action design means cleaning takes about 90 seconds. And here's something clever. CVA built this platform with an interchangeable barrel system, so you can run multiple calibers on a single frame without buying a whole new rifle. Now, the obvious trade-off is that you get one shot before you're reloading. There are no iron sights on the standard models, and if you chamber it in something big, that lightweight frame means the recoil is going to remind you it's there. But at a price point between roughly $300 and $500 depending on configuration, the CVA Scout represents one of the smartest entry points into rifle ownership available today, and the sales numbers prove that plenty of Americans agree. At number 9, we're stepping into what might be the most exciting trend in the entire long gun market right now. Lever-action rifles are experiencing a genuine renaissance, and if you've been paying even casual attention to the industry over the past couple of years, you've seen the momentum building. Among all the lever-action manufacturers competing for your dollars, Henry has established themselves as a dominant force, and their big boy and side gate lineups are leading the charge. Now, technically these are 2 separate model families, but I've grouped them together because mechanically they share so much DNA that separating them would be splitting hairs. What makes Henry rifles special is something you feel the moment you pick one up. The actions cycle like they're running on silk. The triggers break cleanly. The wood furniture has a warmth and richness that reminds you of an era when gun making was as much craft as manufacturing. And that deep, lustrous bluing, it's the kind of finish that makes you want to just stand there and turn the rifle in the light for a while before you ever load around. The brass-framed big boy models in 44 Magnum are particularly hot sellers right now, and the newer sidegate variants solved one of the few legitimate complaints people had about Henry lever guns. You can now top off the tube magazine through a side loading gate without having to empty the entire magazine first. That's a huge quality of life improvement for anyone running these guns in competition or in the field. The downsides? Henry lever guns are not light. At 8.5 pounds or more, you're going to feel the weight on extended carries. The premium pricing, which ranges from about $900 up to nearly $1,400 depending on model and materials, puts them out of reach for some buyers. And if you're the type who loves swapping aftermarket parts, the Marlin platform still has a deeper ecosystem of accessories. The brass models also demand more frequent cleaning and maintenance to keep that gorgeous finish looking its best. But for sheer pride of ownership and shooting pleasure, Henry has earned every bit of their sales success. Speaking of Marlin, they land at number 8, and the story behind their placement here is one of the great comeback tales in modern firearms history. When Ruger acquired the Marlin brand, there was a lot of anxiety in the lever gun community. Would Ruger honor the legacy? Would the quality hold up? The answer, emphatically, has been yes. The revived model 1895 series is proof that this resurrection was handled with genuine respect for what made Marlin legendary in the first place. The 1895 lineup is available in several distinct trims that cover a wide spectrum of shooter preferences. The Dark Series brings a modern, tactical aesthetic with matte black everything. The classic trim leans into traditional elegance. And the heavy-duty SBL, which got a massive visibility boost from its appearance in a certain dinosaur franchise, has become a collector's item in its own right. Chambered in either the versatile 30-30 Winchester or the absolutely devastating 45-70 Government, these rifles handle everything from white-tailed deer to the kind of large, dangerous game that demands you put something big downrange with authority. What Ruger brought to the table was dramatically improved quality control and consistency. The actions on these new production Marlins are smooth and positive. The side ejection design makes scope mounting straightforward, unlike some older top-ejecting lever actions that made optics a headache. And the reliability under hard use has been validated by professional guides, competition shooters, and everyday hunters who put serious round counts through their guns. There are some caveats. The Dark Series models have drawn some criticism for finish durability issues. These are not lightweight rifles, tipping the scales between 7.5 and 8.5 pounds. And the pricing, which starts around $950 and climbs to nearly $1,400 for the SBL, is notably higher than what Marlin's cost before the Ruger acquisition. Certain models also remain difficult to find due to production constraints that haven't fully caught up with demand, but when you get your hands on one and run it, the complaints tend to fade pretty quickly. Marlin earns a back-to-back appearance on our countdown at number 7 with the model 1894, and the reason this one actually outsells its bigger brother is a masterclass in practical thinking by American gun buyers. The 1894 shares essentially the same trim levels and build quality as the 1895, but with one critical difference. It's chambered in pistol cartridges. We're talking 357 Magnum, 38 Special, and 44 Magnum. Now, on paper, you're giving up true rifle ballistic performance by going with a pistol caliber lever gun. But look at what you gain in return, and the math starts making a lot of sense. You get higher magazine capacity, sometimes 10+1 in certain configurations. Recoil drops significantly, which means faster follow-up shots and more enjoyable range sessions. Ammunition costs are lower across the board. And if you already carry a revolver in 357 or 44 Magnum, you now have a rifle and handgun that share the same ammo supply. That's a logistics advantage that's hard to overstate. The 357 Magnum models deserve special mention because they'll also happily cycle 38 special ammunition, which is about as cheap as centerfire ammo gets these days. That makes the 1894 and 357 one of the most affordable centerfire rifles to feed on a regular basis. The shorter 16.5-inch barrel versions offer excellent maneuverability in tight spaces or thick brush. The challenges mirror what we see with the 1895. Demand consistently outpaces supply. Some feeding issues have been reported with certain ammunition types, and there are occasional fit and finish inconsistencies across production runs. The tube loading system is also inherently slower than a detachable box magazine if speed reloads are a priority for you. Pricing runs from about $900 to $1,300 depending on variant. The race between the 1894 and 1895 is tight enough that we could see them swap positions later this year. But right now, the pistol caliber lever gun is winning the popularity contest, and honestly, it's hard to argue with the reasoning. At number 6, Ruger makes their first bolt-action appearance on our list, and they do it with what might be the single best value proposition in the entire rifle market. The Ruger American Series has been one of the best-selling firearms in the country, not just rifles, firearms, period, for several years running, and the momentum shows no signs of fading. What Ruger has done with the American platform is essentially democratize precision. Every model in the family, regardless of trim level or chambering, comes equipped with the Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger. You can tune that trigger to your preference without visiting a gunsmith. The one-piece 3-lug bolt features a short 70-degree throw for faster cycling. The patented power bedding integral bedding block system and cold hammer forged barrel deliver accuracy that genuinely embarrasses rifles costing 2 and 3 times as much. The American family tree has branched out extensively, different stock configurations, various finishes, multiple accessory mounting options. Finding a variant suited to your specific needs is almost effortless. Every model ships with a factory-installed Picatinny rail, and the detachable rotary magazines have proven more reliable than many competing designs. The honest criticisms: the standard synthetic stock has a somewhat hollow budget feel when you handle it. The aftermarket ecosystem, while growing, still can't match what's available for the Remington 700 pattern. Some users have reported finish wear at high contact points under heavy use, and the factory trigger pull, while adjustable, starts heavier than some competitors out of the box. But when the price of entry starts at roughly $500 and tops out around $800 for premium variants like the Predator and long-range models, these are minor complaints against an enormous amount of capability. The number 5 spot belongs to a name that carries serious weight in the bolt-action world. Weatherby's Vanguard series has long been the brand's volume leader, and in 2025, it continues to earn that position through a combination of guaranteed accuracy and expanding variety that keeps drawing new buyers into the fold. Here's what sets the Vanguard apart from the pack. Every single rifle that leaves the factory carries a sub-MOA accuracy guarantee with premium ammunition. That means Weatherby is putting their reputation on the line with every unit sold, promising that the rifle will shoot 3-shot groups under 1 minute of angle as long as the shooter holds up their end of the bargain. That's a bold commitment, and the fact that they've maintained it across a dramatically expanded lineup speaks volumes about their manufacturing consistency. The Vanguard family now includes an impressive array of stock options spanning wood, laminate, and synthetic configurations. Chamberings cover everything from the flat-shooting 22-250 Remington and 223 up through 30-06 Springfield, the potent 300 Weatherby Magnum, and beyond. Whether you're controlling varmints on a ranch or preparing for a dangerous game hunt, there's a Vanguard built for that purpose. Standard features include a match-grade 2-stage trigger on most models, a fluted bolt body that reduces both friction and weight, and hand-lapped barrels that contribute to that impressive out-of-box accuracy. The proprietary Mark V action is widely regarded as one of the strongest bolt actions in production anywhere. On the downside, Vanguard rifles tend to run heavier than competing platforms in similar configurations. Barrel length options are somewhat limited compared to what other manufacturers offer, and here's a consideration that affects long-term cost of ownership. That accuracy guarantee specifically calls for premium Weatherby ammunition, which costs more than standard loads from other manufacturers. Pricing for the Vanguard series spans from about $750 for synthetic stocked entry models up to $1,500 for premium AccuMark and laminate variants. Just edging out Weatherby at number 4 is a rifle that has quietly built one of the most devoted followings in the bolt-action community. The Tikka T3X, manufactured in Finland, has become almost synonymous with the phrase best value in bolt guns, and the sales figures in 2025 confirm that reputation is well-deserved. Some people dismiss Tikka as a budget alternative to their parent company Sako, and that characterization misses the point entirely. Yes, Sako produces extraordinary rifles that command premium prices, but the T3X stands on its own merits, and those merits are substantial. The bolt operation on a T3X is famously smooth. We're talking glass-on-glass smooth right out of the box, no break-in period required. The single-stage trigger is consistently ranked among the best factory triggers in the industry by virtually every reviewer and competitive shooter who's spent time with one. And the accuracy across the entire product line is remarkably uniform, which tells you that Tikka's quality control processes are dialed in tight. The most popular models in the lineup right now are the lightweight variants featuring stainless fluted barrels, blacked-out synthetic stocks, and multi-position safeties. These guns come in at just under 6 pounds unloaded without an optic, which makes them absolute dreams to carry on mountain hunts or any situation where you're covering serious ground on foot. The modular stock system allows for easy customization, and the Finnish engineering heritage means these rifles perform exceptionally well in cold weather conditions. Something that matters more than most people realize until they're trying to cycle a frozen bolt at dawn in January. The trade-offs are real, though. The aftermarket support ecosystem for Tikka, while growing, still lags significantly behind what's available for Remington 700 or Savage platforms. Proprietary magazines are expensive and can be frustratingly difficult to source. Most models use plastic magazine housings and trigger guards, which doesn't inspire the same confidence as metal components. The relatively thin barrel profiles heat up quickly during extended shooting sessions, which can affect accuracy if you're pushing high round counts. And left-handed shooters will find their options limited in certain configurations. Pricing starts at about $700 for the light synthetic models and climbs to $1,800 for specialized variants like the CTR and TAC A1. Now we cross into semi-automatic territory, and the rifle sitting at number 3 is going to surprise some people while making others nod knowingly. The Kel-Tec Sub 2000 Generation 3 has surged into the top 3 fastest-selling rifles in America, and the reasons behind that surge reveal something important about what modern shooters are prioritizing. Kel-Tec has always been a company that zigs when the rest of the industry zags. They build things nobody else is building, and the Sub 2000 is perhaps their most iconic creation. It's a pistol-caliber carbine that folds completely in half at the chamber, vertically, right at the action, creating a package compact enough to slide into a backpack, stash under a truck seat, or tuck into spaces where a conventional rifle simply won't fit. When you need it, you unfold it, and you've got a fully functional 16-inch barreled carbine ready to work. The Gen 3 model specifically addressed the single biggest frustration that plagued earlier versions. Previous Sub 2000 models required you to remove any mounted optic before folding the gun, which essentially forced you to choose between having a red dot and having a folding rifle. The Gen 3 solves this with a rotating forend that allows the optic to clear the barrel when folding. It sounds like a small thing, but it fundamentally changes the usability of the platform and removes the primary reason many shooters passed on earlier generations. Magazine compatibility is another massive selling point. Depending on the variant you purchase, the Sub 2000 will accept magazines from Glock, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, Beretta, or CZ. If you already own a handgun from any of those manufacturers, your existing magazines work in this carbine. That's an enormous practical advantage. Field stripping requires no tools. The stock length is adjustable to fit different body types, and the grip is compatible with standard AR-15 replacements for those who want to customize the feel. The honest shortcomings? The inline stock design creates ergonomics that take some getting used to. Your cheek weld and sight picture feel different than a traditional rifle or even a standard AR platform. The polymer construction, while keeping weight down, has drawn some durability concerns from shooters who put serious round counts through their guns. The 16-inch barrel doesn't extract dramatically more velocity from pistol cartridges than a handgun does, so the ballistic advantage is modest rather than transformative. The trigger is stiff out of the box and doesn't improve much with use. And beyond about 100 yards, you're pushing the practical accuracy limits of the platform. With a suggested retail of $600 that typically lands closer to $650 or $700 at actual dealers, the Sub 2000 Gen 3 offers a genuinely unique capability that nothing else on the market quite replicates. The silver medal position belongs to one of the most talked about tactical rifle families in the world right now, and the buzz is entirely justified. The Sig Sauer MCX series has been riding a wave of momentum that started when the United States Army selected the Spear variant as its next-generation squad weapon, and that wave has carried the entire MCX lineup to extraordinary commercial success. At first glance, an MCX looks like another AR-15 variant, same general silhouette, same familiar controls layout, same magazine compatibility, but internally these are fundamentally different machines. Sig dispensed with the traditional buffer tube and receiver extension entirely, replacing the direct impingement gas system with a short-stroke gas piston operation. This architectural change enables something that's impossible on a standard AR, a truly folding and telescoping stock that remains fully functional even when collapsed. The gun fires, cycles, and functions perfectly with the stock folded, which is a genuine tactical advantage and not just a marketing gimmick. The modularity of the MCX platform is where things get really interesting for the enthusiast market. Changing calibers requires only a barrel and bolt face swap. No new upper receiver, no new lower, just swap the core components and you're running a different cartridge. Available chambering span from 5.56 NATO and 300 blackout through 7.62 pipe 39, all the way up to the new 6.8 pipe 51mm cartridge that the military adoption made famous. The adjustable gas system means the rifle runs reliably with or without a suppressor, and gas blowback to the shooter's face is dramatically reduced compared to traditional direct impingement AR platforms. Fully ambidextrous controls come standard across the lineup, and the MCX accepts standard AR-15 trigger packs, which opens up the entire universe of aftermarket trigger upgrades. The range of available models covers everything from the extremely compact Rattler PDW to the banned state-compliant regulator variant. The barriers to entry are significant, though. The base Virtus Patrol model starts at $2,000, with the compact Rattler commanding $2,500 and the flagship Spear LT variants reaching $3,500. That's serious money, and it's substantially more than a quality AR-15 that will accomplish many of the same tasks. The piston system adds weight compared to equivalent direct impingement rifles. Proprietary components mean repairs and parts sourcing stay largely within SIG's ecosystem. And while early production models had some trigger return spring issues that have since been corrected, the memory of those teething problems lingers for some buyers. Despite all of that, the MCX continues to sell at a pace that suggests it will hold this number 2 position for the foreseeable future. And now we arrive at number 1, and if you've spent any meaningful time around firearms, this pick should feel almost inevitable. The Ruger 1022 is not just the fastest-selling semi-automatic rifle in America. It's arguably the single most important firearm platform in the country when you measure its total impact on shooting culture, new shooter development, and the broader firearms ecosystem. This little semi-automatic rimfire has been in continuous production since 1964, and rather than fading into legacy status, it has somehow grown more relevant with each passing decade. The current 2025 lineup encompasses 9 distinct model families, each branching into multiple sub-variants, creating a constellation of options so comprehensive that the phrase "there's a 1022 for everyone" isn't marketing, it's a literal statement of fact. Want a lightweight packable rifle for hiking and backpacking? The takedown light breaks apart without tools and slides into a compact carrying case. Want a classic wood-stocked carbine that looks like it belongs in a Norman Rockwell painting? The standard carbine model has been fulfilling that role for 6 decades. Want a precision competition platform with an adjustable cheek piece, match-grade barrel, and target-ready ergonomics? The competition model delivers. Want something with a tactical aesthetic and modern accessory mounting? There are variants for that too. The secret sauce behind the 1022's enduring dominance isn't any single feature, it's the ecosystem. The aftermarket support for this platform is unmatched by any other rifle in existence. Thousands of upgrade options exist, from trigger groups and barrels to complete chassis systems that transform the rifle into something its original designers wouldn't recognize. You can build a 1022 into virtually anything you want, and that infinite customizability keeps the platform perpetually fresh and exciting, even for owners who've had one for decades. The rotary magazine design deserves specific credit for the rifle's legendary reliability. Rimfire ammunition is notoriously finicky in many platforms, with feeding issues being a common complaint across the industry. The 1022's rotary magazine essentially eliminates this problem, cycling reliably with virtually any ammunition you feed it: cheap bulk pack, premium match loads, and everything in between. Combined with the simple blowback operating system, you get a rifle that just works, every time, without drama. Operating costs are another massive factor driving sales. 22 long rifle ammunition remains the most affordable centerfire or rimfire option available, which means regular practice doesn't require a second mortgage. For new shooters learning fundamentals, for experienced marksmen maintaining skills, and for anyone who simply enjoys spending time at the range without watching their wallet evaporate, the 1022 is the obvious choice. There are legitimate criticisms. The basic models ship without features that competitors now include as standard, like threaded barrels. The factory trigger is heavier than modern alternatives, though the aftermarket solves this instantly. Standard sights are adequate but not exceptional. Extended rapid-fire sessions can cause accuracy to degrade as the barrel heats up on base models. And there's a valid observation that newer production guns use more polymer components in places where vintage models used metal. But when the entry price starts at just over $300 for a basic carbine, with takedown models in the $450 to $600 range and premium competition variants topping out around $900, these complaints feel like quibbling in the face of overwhelming value. The Ruger 1022 has been the people's rifle for over 60 years, and the 2025 sales data confirms that its reign shows absolutely no signs of ending. So there you have it, the 10 fastest-selling rifles in America right now, and what a fascinating snapshot of the market they paint. Lever actions are surging, budget bolt guns are thriving, innovation in the semi-auto space is being rewarded, and a 60-year-old rimfire design still sits comfortably on the throne. What this list really tells us is that American gun buyers in 2025 are pragmatic, value-conscious, and increasingly diverse in their preferences. There's no single trend dominating. There's a rich, varied marketplace where quality and value win regardless of the platform. That's it for today, folks. See you in the next video.